50 general knowledge questions on solar system and space. What is the solar system for kids? The solar system consists of the sun and everything that orbits or travels around the sun. This includes the 8 planets and their moons, dwarf planets, and countless asteroids, comets, and other small icy objects. However, even with all these things, most of the solar system is empty space. What keeps planets from falling? Newton realized that the reason the planets orbit the sun is related to why objects fall to Earth when we drop them. The sun's gravity pulls on the planet just as Earth's gravity pulls down anything that is not held up by some other force and keeps you and me on the ground. What is the purpose of the planets in our solar system? Our position in solar system, size of Earth and distance from Sun is due to the perfect balance of gravity and distance of all the planets around, which keeps our atmosphere intact and enough heat to keep oceans flowing. Otherwise, there will be all ice or just no water at all. Why is the solar system important? The sun's gravitational force holds the solar system together. It also provides us with light and heat that are powered by nuclear reactions burning constantly inside the sun. Without the light and heat, there would be no life on Earth. So the sun is very important to us. What would happen if the moon was destroyed? Destroying the moon would send debris to Earth, but it might not be life exterminating. Over time, those lunar fragments would deorbit thanks to Earth's atmosphere, creating a series of impacts, a ringed system around the Earth, which could occur if the moon were destroyed in just the right way. When did life first appear on Earth? 3.7 billion years. The earliest life forms we know of were microscopic organisms, microbes, that left signals of their presence in rocks about 3.7 billion years old. The signals consisted of a type of carbon molecule that is produced by living things. How do planets in the solar system move? Newton realized that the reason the planets orbit the sun is related to why objects fall to Earth when we drop them. The sun's gravity pulls on the planet just as Earth's gravity pulls down anything that is not held up by some other force and keeps you and me on the ground. How are solar systems formed? Our solar system formed about 4.5 billion years ago from a dense cloud of interstellar gas and dust. The cloud collapsed, possibly due to the shock wave of a nearby exploding star called a supernova. When this dust cloud collapsed, it formed a solar nebula, a spinning, swirling disk of material. How many planets are in our solar system? 2019. 8 planets. There are 8 planets in the solar system in order of increasing distance from the Sun. They are the 4 terrestrials: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Then the 4 giant planets: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. 6 of the planets are orbited by one or more natural satellites. What is found in the solar system? Our solar system consists of our star, the Sun, and everything bound to it by gravity: the planets Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, dwarf planets such as Pluto, dozens of moons, and millions of asteroids, comets, and meteoroids. Why is Pluto no longer a planet? The International Astronomical Union (IAU) downgraded the status of the Pluto to that of a dwarf planet because it did not meet the 3 criteria the IAU uses to define a full-sized planet. It contains the asteroid belt as well as the terrestrial planets Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. What would happen if the moon broke apart? If the explosion doesn't alter the Earth's rotation, The lack of moon would cause the Earth to rotate at a constant speed. This means that every day would be 24 hours long for the rest of the Earth's existence. The Earth's tides would also change because the gravity the moon exerts on the oceans would no longer exist. What planet can humans live on? After the Earth, Mars is the most habitable planet in our solar system due to several reasons. Its soil contains water to extract. It is not too cold or too hot. There is enough sunlight to use solar panels. Will the universe last forever? As long as the amount of stuff doesn't go over a critical threshold, the universe will continue to expand forever and eventually suffer heat death, freezing out. But if there is too much stuff, the expansion of the universe will slow down and stop. Then the universe will begin to contract. What are the nine planets in order? The order of the planets in the solar system, starting nearest the Sun and working outward, is the following: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and then the possible planet 9. If you insist on including Pluto, it would come after Neptune on the list. What is a black hole? Could we be in a black hole? A black hole is a place in space where gravity pulls so much that even light cannot get out. The gravity is so strong because matter has been squeezed into a tiny space. This can happen when a star is dying because no light can get out. People cannot see black holes. What is a planet? In 2006, the International Astronomical Union (IAU) decided on the definition of a planet. The definition states that in our solar system, a planet is a celestial body which is on the orbit around the Sun. It has sufficient mass to assume hydrostatic equilibrium, a nearly round shape. It has cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. It is not a moon. This means that Pluto, which was considered to be the farthest planet since its discovery in 1930, now is classified as a dwarf planet. How many solar systems are there? So far, astronomers have found more than 500 solar systems and are discovering new ones every year. Given how many they have found in our own neighborhood of the Milky Way galaxy, scientists estimate that there may be tens of billions of solar systems in our galaxy, perhaps even as many as 100 billion. How old is the Earth? 4.543 billion years. Earth is the third planet from the Sun and the only astronomical object known to harbor life. According to radiometric dating estimation and other evidences, Earth formed over 4.5 billion years ago. Who discovered the age of the Earth? Claire Cameron Patterson. An age of 4.55 plus or minus 0.07 billion years, very close to today's accepted age, was determined by Claire Cameron Patterson using uranium lead isotope dating, specifically lead dating, on several meteorites, including the Kenyan Diablo meteorite, and published in 1956. How old is the Earth compared to the age of the universe? Many independent lines of scientific evidence show that the Earth and universe are billions of years old. Current measurements yield an age of about 4.54 billion years for the Earth and about 13.8 billion years for the universe. How old is space? Approximately 13.8 billion years. This information helps astronomers determine the age of the universe. Age may only be a number, but when it comes to the age of the universe, it is a pretty important one. According to research, the universe is approximately 13.8 billion years old. Which planet is smallest? Mercury. Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system, only slightly larger than Earth's moon. What planet is the coldest? Uranus. The seventh planet from the Sun, Uranus has the coldest atmosphere of any of the planets in the solar system, even though it is not the most distant. What is the end of the space? No, they don't believe there is an end to space. However, we can only see a certain volume of all that is out there. Since the universe is 13.8 billion years old, light from a galaxy more than 13.8 billion light years away has not had time to reach us yet. So we have no way of knowing such a galaxy exists. How long will the universe last? Assuming that dark energy continues to make the universe expand at an accelerating rate, in about 150 billion years, all galaxies outside the local supercluster will pass behind the cosmological horizon. Why does the Milky Way look curved? Most full sky photographs, including the one you note, are panoramas made up of several images stitched together. This is because the final photo is a flat projection of a curved sphere which introduces distortion that ultimately makes the Milky Way appear curved in order to make the horizon appear flat. How fast is space expanding? The new estimate of the Hubble constant is 74 kilometers, that is 46 miles per second per megaparsec. This means that for every 3.3 million light years farther away a galaxy is from us, it appears to be moving 74 kilometers, that is 46 miles per second faster as a result of the expansion of the universe. How fast is Earth spinning? Roughly 1000 miles per hour. The Earth rotates once every 23 hours 56 minutes and 4.09053 seconds, called the sidereal period, and its circumference is roughly 40,075 kilometers. Thus, the surface of the Earth at the equator moves at a speed of 460 meters per second, roughly 1000 miles per hour. How long is a galactic year? What we Earthlings call a galactic year is specific to Earth's place in the Milky Way's spiral. We would say that galactic year is 220 or 230 million years, which is the third largest planet. Uranus. Uranus is the seventh planet discovered in the solar system that also led to the discovery of the last planet, Neptune. They are both referred to as ice giants, officially recognized in 1781 after many observations in the past. It is the third largest planet of the solar system. What is the next habitable planet? On August 24, 2016, astronomers announced the discovery of a rocky planet in the habitable zone of the Proxima Centauri, the closest star to Earth, not counting the Sun, called Proxima b. The planet is 1.3 times the mass of Earth and has an orbital period of roughly 11.2 Earth days. How was Earth named? The name Earth is derived from both English and German words "ero", "ertha", and "erd", respectively, which mean ground. One interesting fact about its name, Earth is the only planet that was not named after a Greek or Roman god or goddess. Which is the brightest planet? Venus. A similar situation occurs for Venus. The planet is brightest in our sky around the time Venus passes between us and the Sun, although not exactly at that time, because Venus orbits the Sun inside Earth's orbit. When it goes between us and the Sun's, its lighted hemisphere or day side is facing away from us. Does anything exist in a vacuum? Quantum mechanics tells us that There is no such thing as empty space. Even the most perfect vacuum is actually filled by a rolling cloud of particles and antiparticles which flare into existence and almost instantaneously fade back into nothingness. How does the solar system travel through space? The planets orbit the Sun roughly in the same plane. The solar system moves through the galaxy with about a 60 degrees angle between the galactic plane and the planetary orbital plane. The Sun appears to move up and down and in and out with respect to the rest of the galaxy as it revolves around the Milky Way. How fast is the Milky Way moving through space? 1.3 million miles per hour. The motion that is left must be the particular motion of our galaxy through the universe. And how fast is the Milky Way galaxy moving? The speed turns out to be an astounding 1.3 million miles per hour, that is 2.1 million kilometer per hour. Do planets make sounds in space? NASA space sounds. What happens when spacecrafts are used to record radio emissions from planetary environments, which are then converted to sound waves? Here is something you don't hear every day. More specifically, it is a translation of electromagnetic vibrations from various planetary environments into sound. Is Mars inside or outside the asteroid belt? The planets inside the asteroid belt are termed the inner planets or the terrestrial planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. The planets outside the asteroid belt are termed the outer planets: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. How many dimensions are there? The world as we know it has three dimensions of space: length, width, and depth, and one dimension of time. But there is the mind bending possibility that many more dimensions exist out there. According to string theory, one of the leading physics model of the last half century, the universe operates with 10 dimensions. How many Earth like planets are in our galaxy? 6 billion Earths. As many as 6 billion Earth like planets in our galaxy. According to new estimates, there may be as many as one Earth like planet for every 5 Sun like stars in the Milky Way galaxy, according to new estimates. What would happen if the moon broke apart? If the explosion doesn't alter the Earth's rotation, the lack of moon would cause the Earth to rotate at a constant speed. This means that every day would be 24 hours long for the rest of the Earth's existence. The Earth's tides would also change because the gravity the moon exerts on the oceans would no longer exist. What is the largest planet known to man? Jupiter. Jupiter may be the largest and most massive planet in the solar system, but adding more mass to it. What is the coldest dwarf planet? Pluto. Pluto was the planet farthest away from the Sun and also the coldest. However, Pluto was declassified as a planet in 2006 and is now known as a dwarf planet. Who named Sun? Sol is the Roman equivalent of the Greek sun god Helios, and maybe in earliest times English speakers did use these names. According to StateDope.com website, the first cited use of Sol as a proper name for the sun is the 1450 Ashmole manuscript treatise on astronomy, which stated Sol is hot and dry, but not as Mars is. What was the first life on Earth? The earliest life forms we know of were microscopic organisms. They are microbes that left signals of their presence in rocks about 3.7 billion years old. The signals consisted of a type of carbon molecules and atoms that is produced by living things. What rocks are found in space? In simplest terms, a meteorite is a rock that falls to Earth from space. Meteorites are rocks, but they are not like Earth rocks. Most are far older and they provide some of the only samples we have of other worlds, other planets, asteroids, and possibly comets in our solar system. Will a body decay in space? If you do die in space, your body will not decompose in the normal way since there is no oxygen. If you were near a source of heat, your body would mummify. If you were not, it would freeze. If you if your body was sealed in a space suit, it would decompose, but only for as long as the oxygen lasted. Why is space silent? In space, no one can hear your scream. This is because there is no air in space. It is a vacuum. Sound waves cannot travel through a vacuum. Outer space begins about 100 kilometers above the Earth, where the shell of air around our planet disappears. How much does a spacesuit cost? The cost of a spacesuit originally was about $22 million. Building one from scratch right now can be as much as $250 million.